oh, Manischewitz. Lots going on out there. Ukraine says rare earths deal with Trump in final stages at Breitbart. Francis Martel, the government of Ukraine, confirmed it is in the final stages of an agreement on selling rare earth minerals to America, a deal Donald Trump floated as a way for America to get a return on its investment in supporting Kiev against the Russian invasion. The announcement of the final stages of a deal made by Minister of Justice Ola Stefanashia followed comments by President Vladimir Zelenskyy, in which he expressed hesitation about signing off significant rights to Ukraine's plentiful rare earth minerals or in heavily indebting Ukrainians in the future. Zelensky's remarks after a turbulent week in which Trump disparaged him as a dictator and implied he should vacate his office led many in international media to conclude Ukraine would ultimately decline any such agreement. But they insisted on Monday that the deal was not only still happening, but almost complete. You know, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I do what I do. This is why I say the things that I say. I use my platforms on Blaze and on Fox and here behind this microphone, but especially Blaze and Fox a few days back. I think, in fact, in the case of Fox, it was Saturday. In the case of Blaze, it was before that. I said, this is a brilliant move by the president. Not about going into Ukraine. This is not about going into Ukraine and seizing their minerals and assets. It's about making a business arrangement. Now, I don't know what this is going to be, but I hope it's along the lines that I urged on these various platforms. That is, the United States and Ukraine go into business. They have what we want, and they don't really know how to get it. They are atop of massive amounts of crucially important rare earth minerals and metals that we could use. The Russians want them. That's the real reason why Putin attacked Ukraine. Yes, for geographic purposes. Yes, because he wants to reach into Poland and Romania and the Balkan states. There's no doubt about it. But he wanted to capture all these rare earth minerals and other incredibly valuable minerals. So does Communist China. And that's why they're in the Arctic Circle as well, because the Arctic Circle, under that ice, under that tundra, there's an enormous amount, plentiful, rare minerals. We're talking about lithium and titanium and on and on and on, uranium. And so when President Trump said, you know, we want access to that, that got my little brain thinking, well, why don't we have a huge investment relationship with Ukraine? They make money, we get access to these minerals. We can mine them, we can excavate, we can develop them. They cannot. They simply do not have the ability to do so. And in so doing, it's better than them joining NATO, if that's controversial, because we'll have an American presence in Ukraine, businessmen, employees, companies, security. And the president has made abundantly clear today that there's going to be some kind of a security arrangement for Ukraine. Just have faith. Just have trust. And so this is something that I talked about at some length. This is something that I hope will take place because it's really the best outcome for the United States and Ukraine. And Russia will seriously have to think 1,000 times before it invades Ukraine again, especially again with a security infrastructure. I have no idea what's happening. Hopefully it's along those lines. I have to believe it's something like that. I also have a lot of faith in General Kellogg, Keith Kellogg. I've had him on my programs multiple times, and he's very solid on these issues. And he understands who the oppressor and the oppressed, quote unquote, are in that war. He understands what's what, and a nice, clear-eyed thinking on that. And I think President Trump is using his deal-making smarts to try and get this done. So we shall see. And I think Russia's a little nervous about it because earlier today, or it was last night, they said, wait a minute, we have rare earth minerals too. We'll make some deals with the United States. No, they won't. And they're not to be trusted in any respect. That's for sure. Now, the wealth has made Ukraine, they write at Breitbart, an attractive target for China, too. The Ukrainian government, prior to Zelenskyy being elected president, became a member of China's Belt and Road Initiative, a debt trap scheme in which China offers poor countries predatory loans for alleged infrastructure projects. They write, Zelenskyy has embraced the potential of Chinese investment in post-war Ukraine, inviting dictator Xi Jinping to talks and hoping Chinese businesses take an interest in reconstruction. But hopefully, and I believe, we got there first. A major American presence in the Ukrainian mineral industry, they write, would likely have a deterrent effect on Chinese investment. The whole thing would have a deterrent effect on China and Russia and have an enormously positive economic impact on the United States and Ukraine. Again, so much of what they have has not been properly mined and developed. In fact, so much of it hasn't been mined or developed at all. And we can handle that. We can do that. So the amount of money flowing into the United States, jobs in the United States, jobs in Ukraine by Americans, businesses in Ukraine. Ukraine, which is, I just read somewhere that they would need close to $600 billion or more than $500 billion to rebuild that country. Well, this is a way to do it. And as I pointed out on Blaze and Fox and here, this is better than the Marshall Plan. This is better. This is an investment. This is a partnership in which we make money too, in which we get access to we want too. But it also is an enormous boost to the Ukrainians. In other words, it's called capitalism. Am I allowed to use that word today? I don't know if I am. But I will anyway. Again, we will see, but there seems to be a very positive view of this, whereas 72 hours ago, 96 hours ago, for the Ukrainians, there was not. And this is one of the reasons, at least in my little way, I've been encouraging this and encouraging the Ukrainians and us. Make this deal a business deal, make this deal as the president wants it to be, and ensure that both parties make money, ensure that we get the minerals that we need, that we help them exploit that, and it'll also be a wonderful national security boon to the Ukrainians because China won't get access to their minerals and neither will Russia. I think this is a big deal depending on how it comes down. Depending on how it comes down. It's only a matter of time. I think they said it could be determined as early as Friday. And so, again, as they point out in Breitbart, Putin tries to undercut Zelenskyy deal by offering U.S. minerals. That's all a fake, phony, and a head bob. Francis Martel, again, Russian strongman Putin held a meeting on Monday to discuss the development of his country's rare earth mineral industry, in which he suggested he would welcome American investment in the sector, in both his country and the parts of Ukraine that he has seized. And that timing coincides with President Trump negotiating an agreement with Ukraine to develop its rare earth and other critical mineral industries, which the president has now said today, and he said yesterday, we have a potential deal. Zelensky's people have said exactly the same thing, and he may wind up in the United States, Zelenskyy, on Friday. While Ukrainian President Zelenskyy has expressed some hesitation in public to the terms of such an agreement, as government officials announced they were almost finished hashing out the details. And both sides said the terms were very constructive for Ukraine and the United States. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear.